Friends, the Russian-Ukraine war has been now on for the last 4 years, and this conflict has been happening for even years before that. It is all about Ukraine wanting a NATO membership, which has been firmly denied by Donald Trump. He's also made a fool out of Ukraine by taking their rare earth materials and promising them security and waiving off Biden's $500 billion worth of weapons, ammunition, and assistance that was given. And Trump, despite his maverick ways, has been trying to reach out to Putin. They met in Alaska, but nothing has come out. High officials are meeting the US and the Russians, but still things are in vain. European countries are supporting Ukraine, and Zelensky, like a comedian, is jumping around in his green t-shirt from country to country, having his country devastated beyond means of repair. Russia has no mood to soften down their attacks. They are sending barrages of missiles. Russia is trying to wave it off with European and American help. Russia wants the Donbass region and also the territory that it has captured. Ukraine says it has won the war, but where? How? And the EU or the European Union has made a 12-point program with Donald Trump as the chairman of the peace committee or the board that is going to take care of the ceasefire or the stopping of war. Before that, there is a requirement for a ceasefire between the Russian and the Ukrainian troops. This proposal includes a ceasefire, prisoner exchange, security guarantees for Ukraine. This initiative aims to revive peace talks despite Russia's current refusal to halt the fighting. These European nations are reportedly collaborating with Ukraine on this 12-point plan to end Russia's war along existing front line, rejecting Vladimir Putin's renewed demands for Kyiv to cede territory in exchange of peace. This peace board, chaired by the US President, would oversee the plan's implementation, and the proposal mirrors Trump's calls last week to halt the conflict along the existing front line before beginning negotiations. So what is this plan? Once Ukraine and Russia agree to a ceasefire and halt territorial advances, the proposals call for the return of all deported children to Ukraine and the exchange of prisoners. Ukraine would also receive security guarantees, funding to repair war damage, and a fast-track pathway to join the EU. Moscow and Kyiv would negotiate the administration of occupied territories through sources said neither Ukraine nor Europe would legally recognize any of the land as Russian. Sanctions on Russia would be eased gradually, but approximately $300 billion in frozen central bank reserves would be released only after Moscow agrees to contribute to Ukraine's post-war reconstruction. The restrictions would be reinstated if Russia launched another attack on its neighbor. Russia has so far refused calls to halt the fighting along current front line, despite suffering heavy casualties on its own side, and the war has entered the 4th year. European leaders also expressed their strong support for an immediate ceasefire along the current battle lines and then only make way for peace. But Russia says that the sanctions imposed on them should also be eased first, and then only any kind of talks will take place. Though Russia says the sanctions is not going to hamper its economy in any way, and it will still be the second largest exporter of oil in the world. And here China, which has a nexus with Russia, says it is not directly involved in the Russia-Ukraine war, but it is supporting Russia indirectly. But China has tactically kept away from this wall without giving any troops, arms or ammunition assistance to Russia. And during these meetings, Trump dismissed any map of the front lines in Ukraine and urged Zelensky to surrender the entire Donbas region to Putin, and repeated talking points that Russian leader had made during their call on one of these days with Trump. Meanwhile, a planned summit between Trump and Putin was postponed as Moscow refuses to agree to an immediate ceasefire in Ukraine's stalled negotiation effects. So, at this stage, there is a status quo happening where Russia does not want to lower its guns. Ukraine has lost everything. Donald Trump wants peace to come in. The European Union is ready to support Ukraine and also move towards a peace plan provided there is a ceasefire. But then Russia wants the sanctions to be lowered first. And it is now very clear that Ukraine will not get NATO membership and Russia wants Donbas. So there is a stalemate. So we will have to wait and watch, and you keep watching my channel so that I can give you these little updates to keep you abreast of the world geopolitics. Jai Hind.